Welcome to the final episode of WJAG-TV this year.
Today we're going to find out more about what affects teens and see some of Jamie Calkin's art.
As well as check out a dojo down the road and explore some fun places to visit over the summer.
My name's Colin Frake.
And my name is Olivia Duber.
And this is WJAG-TV with your weekly school news.
Jag Nation rockin' orange with the blue on the scene. Pride of the east side, y'all wish y'all could compete. Who got the juice? Yeah. Who got the juice? Yeah. Knowledge is the tour, meet me at the school. Who got the juice? Who got the juice? Knowledge is the tour, meet me at the school.
Many students at Cedar have been playing Fortnite. Let's go to Dominic Bielli and Jake Gunterman to see how this game affects teens.
In March of 2018, Fortnite made its way to the App Store, where its accessibility and popularity increased even more. Students and teachers reflected on the game and the effect that it has had on them.
I've been playing Fortnite for about 2 to 3 months now.
I think I downloaded it about a month ago. Once I heard everyone kind of getting like the buzz around school, I try to stay up on current video games, so I downloaded it. So I've been playing for about a month. I probably play like 2 or 3 days a week, and when I play, I'll play for like maybe an hour at a time, and then kind of put it up.
How long have you been playing Fortnite?
Since like Christmas break. I really don't play a lot. I mainly play on the weekends, so like probably like 12 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
I spend about 2 to 3 hours on Fortnite per day. Fortnite hasn't really affected my social life. Of course, you meet new friends who are interested in the game too, but that's just about it.
I don't play it enough to have it affect my social life. It's just kind of like I might play video games 3 hours a week, and right now I'm just playing Fortnite, so that's just where all my video game time is going.
I mean, if people ask me to go out, I'm probably gonna find time to go out with them, but like, I mean, I still manage to like text my friends back. Like, I know you've seen like all the little memes and junk saying like Fortnite is breaking up relationships and all that, but I don't think that. I think if you really like someone, you'll find time to text them and communicate. I
have a good friend that I went to college with, and we've been playing duos a lot. And then last night we did some of the 50 versus 50, the new game. But yeah, playing with friends makes it more fun because you can work with someone and be able to talk to them and watch out for each other and stuff. So,
would you say that sometimes the game like improves your social life because you spend time with friends on the game?
Yeah, so I mean, me and this guy, we're really good friends and we do a lot of stuff together, but we've definitely been spending more time together playing Fortnite than we had lately, so I guess so.
With all of this time spent playing Fortnite, we were curious how it affected school life.
My grades have not been affected by Fortnite at all. I'll always find time to play my game, but most importantly, find time to study.
No, well, kinda, but it's just one class in particular.
So, like, would you say you spend time on Fortnite more than you do homework?
Yeah, but not in a bad way.
Why is it not a bad way?
Like, I'd go home and I'll probably play Fortnite, and then I'll probably like eat and then do my homework.
I do not play Fortnite in class. I know it's important to listen to, and teachers don't like it, but it's also because I know I wouldn't be able to complete a round.
I don't think it's addictive. Like, I don't play it like 24/7. I have other games I play with. I play, but I wouldn't say it's just like all I do. Like, I play sports and all that.
Have you spent any money on Fortnite?
Yeah.
Like, how much money do you think you spent?
Like $50 at the most.
What do you spend the money on?
Skins.
Skins?
And the battle pass.
Yeah, I've spent about $300 on Fortnite, buying all the new legendary skins and everything. It's hype.
Nice.
Yeah, I try to stay up with, my students and their interest, and, video games, music, shoes, those kind of things are things that I stay into. They're my interest, but the things I like to stay into because it helps me connect with students. So when I started hearing everyone talking about Fortnite, I was like, okay, it's free. Like, I'll download it and give it a shot. And it turned out to be really fun. It's really hard in the beginning because you don't know what you're doing and you just get killed really easy. But then after that, you start to figure out some strategy, you learn how to build, and it gets better. So,
Jamie Calkin is a local artist here in Athens. I interviewed him at his home art studio to find out how he's become so well known in our community. Known for his stunning watercolors and intricate murals, Jamie Calkin has become a household name for those in the Athens art community. With pieces all over town, chances are you've seen one of his creations.
I think one of the things is I love watercolors because I can fit it all in my bag. It's the most portable color way of painting, besides maybe pastels, but even they're a pain. The young person that comes from Athens or Auburn or whatever and has those connections to those places, I think the colorful, loose attracts mostly younger, but people that tend to be more interested in bright colors and like I would love to do tropical scenes and Caribbean stuff, but yeah, a lot of times it's people that look like me. It is definitely possible to make a living as an artist. I mean, the first most important thing is, do people like your work that aren't your parents or your family? Like, people that don't know you, if they like your work without knowing anything about you, then if you got that, then yes, it's possible to make a living.
With a common theme of bright, exciting colors, one of Jamie's trademarks are sunflowers. I was curious to how this theme came about.
So my son was born with a heart defect, and he passed away after major surgery and a hospital stay. And we got sunflowers from friends, and so when I would paint sunflowers early on, it was a direct connection to remember Abraham, my son. I love to paint when I'm traveling, so like the street scenes, that would be, like if I had to say like my favorite thing, if I could, it would be going to a cool place and painting the scene, the street scene.
With pieces all over Athens, I asked Jamie about his personal favorites.
Probably the arch, the UGA arch. It's one of the things, along with sunflowers, that I can do from memory. You know, the first 10, 15 times I painted the arch, I resented it. I did not like painting it. It made me mad I felt like a conformist, and it's not easy, actually, because it's really thin. Once I started doing it in purple, that's, I think, when it's like, oh, this is, and now it's fun, it's easy, and people are so connected to it that it's a great thing to have. The exciting thing for me now is that I'm busy enough, I make enough money so that I have money to share, and so the things that I am not good at, that I hate doing, that I am inefficient at, I have a manager and I have interns that are doing things that I need done, but I shouldn't be doing myself. And so that's one of the reasons for my success the last couple years.
As an Athens resident, I asked Jamie what kind of legacy he wants to leave after his painting years are over.
So like sharing with young people and with folks that aren't paying for it or can't afford it, but I still treat them exactly the same as the richest person buying the most expensive painting. So I think treating people well, no matter who they are and whether they're paying or not. But this is a business, so that's just something that I struggle with. But I think that would be the most important thing for my life, is a legacy of being a good person.
People say that 11th grade is the most difficult grade, and many juniors at Cedar have been affected by stress. I went to find out about the stress phenomenon that plagues juniors.
When you're an underclassman, you often hear from both adults and peers that junior year is the hardest and causes the most stress. In fact, Google seems to agree. But what is making this year so difficult and stressful?
In terms of 11th grade stress, it's just a pattern I feel like I've seen out of juniors in the last few years where you know, they take on a lot of responsibilities, they take on a lot of academic pursuits. Many of them are getting their first part-time job. They might have additional responsibilities at home. They're taking on leadership roles within like the things they do at school, whether like they're a team captain or they have like a lead role in a production, or they have a lot of responsibility in my class or something like that, and all of a sudden they find themselves crumbling underneath the sheer weight of all those responsibilities, and they feel like they're unable to do the things that they were previously excelling at. I mean, and some students hit this problem in 9th grade. Some of them have it in middle school. Some of them it's a 2 or 3 year process, but I feel like I see it mostly with students at some point in the fall of their 11th grade year.
To get more answers, I set up a survey. While anyone was initially allowed to respond, only those who selected that they were in 11th grade were able to take the survey, and out of 161 respondents, 37 were 11th graders. The survey covered topics from AP classes to extracurriculars. One question was about stress levels. 75.7% of the surveyed 11th graders said that they were experiencing stress levels above an 8.
I feel like the stress from last year was nothing compared to this year. This year it's a lot more. Yeah.
I have a lot more homework now, having to worry about like SATs, ACTs, and the more AP exams.
Well, this year I'm taking a couple more AP classes. That, and it's just, there's a lot more homework. The workload's doubled.
The pressure, it literally feels like the weight of the entire world, because my future rides on right here and now.
Yeah, I think I still have the same amount of homework. I don't think that increased a ton, but it's just the ACT and the SAT are freaky.
The survey results also showed that a majority of participants were receiving between 5 to 7 hours of sleep. KidsHealth.org recommends 8 to 10 hours of sleep for teenagers. An article on HuffingtonPost.org makes a connection between stress and the lack of sleep and more stress. However, this vicious cycle of sleep and stress can be escaped and the stress can be managed.
Well, I think we have, all of us counselors, we have seen a lot of juniors coming into the counseling office. First of all, for just being really responsible juniors, thinking about their senior year, SATs, ACT, college information, that sort of thing. But in the conversation, I think it's pretty clear across the board that students, juniors, or any other student really, is experiencing a lot of stress. Probably the best thing that I would say is evaluate how things are going for you right now. And if, like a phone can cause stress too. Evaluate your stress and what you can do. But always talk to somebody if you need it. I think talking, to your parents, talking to a teacher or coach that you're close to, talking to your best friends. You kids are very close-knit. I know you have your people, and you know a lot about each other, and you support each other. The other thing is find something that gives you relief or joy.
I have a dog, and he is this little ball of pure joy, and every day I go home and I spend time with him, and he is just unconditionally happy about everything. And I think something along those lines, something that just reminds you of all the stuff that makes you happy and the good stuff, and kind of gives you like the light at the end of the tunnel, like, hey, I know everything feels so heavy and gray right now, but you love this, and remember this, and just think about how great this is going to be. So something that drives you, and like you occasionally retouch on what keeps you going, stuff like that. And then also making sure you take care of yourself. When you have a lot of responsibilities and friends and stuff, you feel sometimes like you're tied to a lot of other things, but I think what people forget is that you always have to come first in terms of your health, and if you put others before yourself, it's not going to work out. So you need to make sure you give yourself enough self-care time, enough rest, enough food, enough sleep, enough time to process and think, and prepare your brain for what's ahead.
And well, the good news, fellow 11th graders, is that this stress won't last forever. And we only have 18 days left of school.
The Barnet Taekwondo Academy has been a family-friendly martial arts business for over 20 years. Elena Gorshnan went to see more about it.
Hidden between the walls of a small strip, the family-owned Barnett Taekwondo Academy plays a big role for the local community. For the past 20 years, this academy has provided a safe, authentic space for martial arts enthusiasts. From kids taking classes in elementary school to retired adults, BTA embraces and accepts anyone who walks in their doors. Janetta Barnett and her husband have been the backbones for this academy for the past 2 decades.
It's family oriented. We've had many families to come through, and they started at the age of 4, and now they're either in high school or college. We teach people from all aspects of life. And with martial arts, it's not like any other sport. It's something that you earn on your own. It's like with basketball, you're a team. We're a team also, but this is something that no one can take from you.
As you know, we're a black belt family. Both my sons are black belts. My wife and myself, we're black belts. And we've been in the community for a long time, and we've been teaching so long that we thought we would share this with the rest of the community. So what started out as basically a hobby turned into a passion, which eventually turned into a business.
They welcome you with open arms. They'll pace it for the child's or adult's pace. I think it's an excellent opportunity for children. It's really expanded my son's memory for memory retention. It's been fascinating to watch how his grades have improved with it.
Why do you like Taekwondo?
Because it makes us learn new strengths.
You don't have contracts, so you can try it, and if you don't like it, you're not financially bound like a lot of the martial arts centers. You have to sign years contracts, a black belt club contracts, and you're bound into it whether you want to stay with it or not.
Not only does this dojo teach individuals martial arts, but it also emphasizes on the essential teachings of life, in which they call the tenets.
My main belief is everyone should know self-defense, and that just kind of turned into our philosophy.
There are our tenets of Taekwondo, which is courtesy, and that's not only for martial arts, but just in life, being polite toward other people, just being nice, integrity, honesty, perseverance, never giving up, self-control. That's something within, because sometimes if you have a hot temper and you just boom, jump right off into whoever has insulted you, then they got the upper hand on you. Indomitable spirit, that, like I said, that's something within. Indomitable spirit to me is like a dream, and you hold on to it if it's something that you want.
Knowing how to defend yourself is never old. Everyone needs to know how to defend themselves because we live in a crazy society out there. You know, if you're looking for a great way to relieve stress, to eliminate the fear in your life, to come work out in a fun-filled family environment, I would highly recommend it.
Begin. Ma'am! Courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit, ma'am!
So facing a sheet.
Clap for
all right.
Last Friday, students at Cedar Shoals participated in National Walkout Day. Let's go to Roro Jamul and Catherine Wang with the story.
17 people, 15 of which are students, were killed while attending a hallmark of our democracy, a school.
Last Friday, April 20th, our school held a student walkout like many other schools around the nation, protesting against gun violence and demanding common-sense gun control laws. During this protest, many student participants and leaders came to the podium to voice their opinions.
How many years are we going to lose all these brothers and sisters? All these mothers, these fathers?
We walked out for the parents because they received goodbye messages after sending their kids to school, and to that we say no more. We walked out for common sense gun laws because BS solutions like arming teachers have yet to be enforced, but they do not work. Not for the teacher who barricaded himself in a classroom, and not for Philando Castile, who legally purchased a gun but was still killed for being black. We walked out because mass murderer Nicholas Cruz is a broken child, but Tamir Rice was grown enough to die for playing with a common children's toy. And to that we say no more. No more! We walk out because Dylan Roof deserved an easy arrest for murder, but Trayvon Martin was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and to that we say no more. No more! I did not come to Cedar Shoals to be afraid every day that I was going to die.
I remember 3 weeks ago when we got back from spring break, I remember being in the library with my friends planning on what we would do if the library got shut up. I should not be afraid for my life in school. I should be afraid because I might fail a test, or I might fail an AP exam, or I'll forget to do my homework.
For some, this issue is a reality, and for others, it's something that is constantly in the back of their minds.
April 25th should have been a happy day. My dad, Tom Tanner, and 2 other wonderful human beings, Marie Bruce and Ben Teague, had just completed Sherlock Holmes. It was the last show they did together. In an instant, my dad's smiles were stopped by gunshots and blood. That day hadn't been remembered at all. It should have been remembered for laughter and chatter, became remembered for screaming and panicked 911 calls. Even at 7 years old, I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted him and others like him to never have access to a gun, and I knew that the NRA was corrupt and frightening. My mother is a teacher. She teaches the 5th grade, and every day I tell her goodbye, and I make sure I remember the last words that I said to her, because I am afraid that a gunman is going to walk in and open fire on her classroom, and I know my mother. My mother would use her body to shield those children, and I may never see my mother again.
Since these protests began, the National Rifle Association and many political leaders have received criticism for their views on gun control.
If you have seen these dollar sign things going around, they are price tags. That is approximately the amount of money that is spent by the NRA to stop gun control given to Georgia senators and people of administration in Georgia in Congress. So divided by the amount of students, we are all worth about $1.04.
At one point they were built on making guns safer to handle and to educate people about the guns that they own, but now they're just corrupt and they buy out politicians for the sake of owning unnecessary weapons. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Sarah Palin. These are just a few of our political leaders that have said nothing about gun control or doing something to fix this problem. They have said nothing.
When they did nothing, we called to them on the news and they ignored us. When they did nothing, we organized one of the largest marches in America since Martin Luther King, and they ignored us. When 5 school shootings happened in the weeks after Parkland, they still ignored us. If we can be sure of one thing about these politicians, it is that they will always ignore us on this issue.
Please, please, if anybody in the government can hear us, please learn that we can't handle this anymore. We're not going to die just because people are scared that they can't bear arms anymore.
Time is up on saying too soon. Time is up on giving only thoughts and prayers. Time is up taking NRA money and living lavishly while students are murdered in school, in parks, in restaurants, on the streets, under their lazy eye. Time is up.
Many students had ideas on how our generation could change gun control laws, and many encouraged the student body not to lose hope.
Tweeting at politicians and staging protests will never be enough in American democracy. We have to vote. In 2018 and 2020, millennials, this generation, everyone here will become the largest voting bloc in the United States of America.
Millions of us can vote this year, and then many millions more of us will be able to vote by 2020. And we need as many hands on deck to change the people in power so that way we can be safe again.
Register yourself to vote. If you can't register to vote, get your parents to vote. Get your friends to vote. Get everyone you know to register to vote.
Change is not going to happen now, maybe not later, but it's always something that we have to work at. You can't be out here protesting and later on go back to what you were doing before.
That's right.
Right. It's not going to happen right now, but maybe someday soon we might see the change that our generations before us was hoping that they were going to see.
It is us and our kids and our grandkids that will make the change in this country. We are the future. Look around. It's here.
We stand out here for common sense solutions to put an end to this nightmare. We are children gathering for peace. We are children, not crisis actors. We are children, not puppets. We are children, not extremists. We are children, not bullies. We are children. We are survivors. We are the future, and we are change. All of us.
It should be a beginning to a new empowered generation of teenagers, willing to take on the status quo that has been the status quo for too long. Go vote. Go protest some more. Go raise your voice to the sky and say, we need change. And then go do just that.
Lastly, let's go to Solomon Jones with some information about local parks that you can visit over the summer.
Over the summer, when you're lazy and have nothing to do, maybe you should give nature a try. Athens is full of beautiful and adventurous places to explore, such as Botanical Gardens, Memorial Park, and Trail Creek Park. Trail Creek Park is perfect for going out to have fun and sports events with friends. It is a park offering mountain bike trails, a playground, and a fitness area, and much more. The Botanical Gardens is a 313-acre horticultural conservatory with plenty of walking paths that you may enjoy. Memorial Park is the perfect place to bring a little brother or sister to enjoy the wonders of nature. The park has play equipment, a dog park, nature trails, and much more stuff for you and your little sibling to do. Those are only some of the parks that you can go visit, but there are many more that you may enjoy. And since it's been storming this week, on days like this, just get a book, kick back, and relax.
That seems to be all for today.
My name's Colin Frick.
And my name's Olivia Duver.
And this has been WJAG-TV with your weekly school news.